Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of the Damn Music Show. I'm Micah Wagner. This is Darren Dreyowitz coming to you from live in Where you at, Darren?
Well, the city of lost wages, Las
Lo-
Vegas.
Las Wages
Uh,
is where
I
he's
got
at.
this little, where
What does it
where the
say?
House of Blues T-shirt right
Oh, there
there.
we go. Nice. I love it.
That's my souvenir.
I love it. Well, you're gambling your life away, but breaking news happened that made both of us definitely sad, reflective, made me think about a lot. And that is yours and everyone's truly the bassist for ZZ Top, Dusty Hill, passed away yesterday. Yeah?
Yeah, he sure did. At the age of 72, I believe, he was not. ZZ Top goes back to the 60s, believe it or
Mm-hmm.
not. He was not
Mm-hmm.
one of the very first founding members, but that band has not changed their lineup in 51 years. It's been those
Yeah.
three guys for 51 years, and he
Yeah.
was a part of that trio.
Yeah.
And now he's gone.
And Darren, where were you from? Where is this shot at? It's shot in?
The ZZ Top is
No, not that
from
ZZ.
Texas.
Us. Where's the damn show shot at?
Oh, Austin, Texas.
So ZZ Top is from Houston, for those of you that don't know, but they spent a lot of time in Austin, and Austin likes to claim them in many ways for helping their career and being a big backing of the blues scene when ZZ was really getting big. So I'm a diehard ZZ fan. I love ZZ Top. I love everything they do. I think there's really nobody better. I think I mean this, that knows how to put a pocket and groove together and drive it home. Those guys are never out in front. They set you up and they just go the whole song. Their pocket and groove is some of the best in the business, and I love it. And I've listened to them for a long time here in Austin, Texas.
Yeah, and so translating for the non-music serious people, pocket and groove primarily is the rhythm section, the drummer and the bass
A
player,
hundred
right
percent.
there, and it allows the guitarist has got to stay along with them and it allows to be colorful within that. But what made that band go
I
are,
agree.
Frank Beard and Dusty Hill, the drummer
I
and
agree.
the bass player,
I agree.
and those things are always
They're underrated
discussed.
to an
They're
extent. Yeah,
underrated.
yeah,
Yeah, they're
yeah.
underappreciated.
Yeah,
Is what I'm
they're
trying to
the
say.
offensive linemen, which
Right.
wins Super Bowls. Great
Yep.
quarterbacks are awesome, but offensive and defensive linemen win the game. In this situation, that groove was always so it was swung a little bit just behind and just so well that you just drag right in. Of course, Billy Gibbons is a monster, one of my favorite guitarists as well. I just they embody the way they play. Like they really like I think both of them walk at a slant. They're like behind, they're just so slow and patient in the right way. So I'm a huge ZZ Top fan, and I was very sad to see the news.
Well, here's why I think this is important. A couple of episodes ago, a couple of weeks ago, I made a comment something like, rock is dying, rock music is dead, and you went on to name a bunch of current rock bands, and that is true when you look at the modern alternative, sophisticated rock, where rock really is uh, more well crafted. It really brings in the technology and the sounds and all the pedals and things that you can do to really dress up rock.
Yep.
And so what I meant to say is exactly what you're talking about. What Micah would say: four on the floor, down the pike,
Mm-hmm.
in the pocket,
Nothing
groove, rock and
fancy.
rock and roll.
A
Right?
couple of instruments and a drum. That's it. Three instruments, four or five tops. Like they layer some guitars, but not really.
Yeah. That's what I mean by that, and this is why this death and others like it are important.
Yeah,
The
agreed.
what we now call classic rock, which in my opinion is just straight up rock and roll.
Sure.
So the rock that you were talking about with White Stripes and some of those people, that's rock, alt rock, that kind of thing in my definition.
Hmm.
I'm talking about just traditional rock and roll in that
Yeah,
pocket group.
yeah.
There's not a lot of those guys left.
I
There's
think
not a lot of
Foo
those bands
Fighters
left.
follows in a little bit of this vein, like
Yep.
crunchy guitars and drums and bass. You know, that's
Yeah,
what you're saying about it. But things are more complicated these days than they
they are.
were. And because of that, I think we've lost a bit of the art of like just the essence of a song. Because a great song, it doesn't have to be complicated. Well, let's watch a little. I pieced together a little bit of a video, so it's almost like a reaction. But let's watch a little. The first one I thought was funny because it sums up the vibe of like who I think ZZ Top was and is. And they kind of never changed in all the best ways, right? Like we talk so much about bands changing, they never really changed. Like
Yeah.
ZZ was ZZ all the way through. So let's check it out. This is like it like took me back when I was piecing it together. I was like, yes, of course. Flashy cars, road, deserts.
Funny, when I still see that car, I still call that a ZZ Top car when I see it
Right?
driving around.
Right? Like this was them, and I think there's plenty of generations that have like would look at this as if it's like 4,000 years old.
Well, and that car and that whole style, that became their sort of marketing
Yep.
logo
Yep.
at that time, bro.
There it is.
Drum, there's the pocket right there.
There it is. Let's turn it up.
I'm already tapping my foot.
Oh yeah. It makes you laugh, right? It just makes you smile.
Speed up the car while you're driving. Even the way they dance back and forth.
Oh, it's so good. Again, it just hasn't gone anywhere. Nothing's different. They added a tambourine, and I'm still in.
grind.
I'm still in
Yeah.
it. I'm still like there's no. I'm like, yeah, feed it to me all day.
The snare and the bass.
That's it. It's just like drivey. All right, let's see what I did next. So here's like, I mean, this. It gives me a little bit of goosebumps. Look at these guys. I mean, come on. Yeah,
It's good old fashioned dirty rock and roll.
they're just saucy.
Look at the size of the crowd.
So awesome. A little side. So tell me if I'm wrong here, but I feel like their beards are older than they are.
I hope that the coroner or the what do they call it, the funeral home doesn't mess with his beard and
Oh,
they
please.
somehow play that
Don't-
tribute. Yeah.
Don't touch that beard. Make it the same. You can tell I'm like doing my best, and I'm still so far behind. I have so many
It's
years of wisdom to catch up to.
It takes a special man to grow a ZZ Top beard.
Uh,
And, to this day, if I still see a dude with a beard that long, I go, "Oh man, that guy's rocking a ZZ Top
Rocking
beard."
a ZZ.
And oddly enough, the only guy in the band who doesn't have a beard, his last name is Beard, Frank Beard, the drummer.
I
So,
never, I never thought about
here's what I think about people forget about. They got together in 1969. I think their first album came out in 71, 72. They had a 3 albums in the early 70s, and I think their big hits were LaGrange and Tush. And then they took a couple of years off to just recharge their batteries. They did sort of change their music a little bit and experimented with things. And then in the 80s, after these guys have been around for 12 years, they came out with the songs that we just said. The Eliminator album is the one that made them giant international stars, not just Texas or the South.
Sure.
And, these guys did this while in their late 30s or 40s, which I
Yep.
also think doesn't happen anymore. But again, for me, this roots rock,
Yeah.
basic
Yeah.
driving
Yeah.
sound, 4 on
Yeah.
the floor. They're I'm not saying they don't exist anymore. I'm saying
It
their
doesn't exist
place
like
in the
that. It doesn't exist
right.
like that.
The prevalence of that type of music and that number of bands that get
Yeah.
airplay today
Oh
is
yeah.
nothing compared to what it was
Mm-mm.
back then. And ZZ Top always had a cool factor to
Oh
them,
man, for
just
sure.
like sort of like Leonard Skinner or Zeppelin or
Yeah.
something like that. ZZ Top was laid back blues, Texas, good old boy Southern rock style. They always
Yeah.
had that vibe to
Yeah.
them, and I just yeah, it doesn't that doesn't exist
I
anymore.
saw,
And all I'm saying, this is not good old. This is my last comment. I'm not. This is not good old days syndrome. I'm
I
only
mean, I'm
saying
with it.
if you enjoy that music, go see these people before they're gone because Tom Petty, you know, a
Yeah.
lot of these, Glenn Fry,
Yep.
you know, they're not going to be around much longer. Go
Yep.
see them.
Yep. You can
Yeah,
go down the
John
list.
Miller, Cougar. Yeah,
Yep. I was trying to go see the Stones. They're coming back to Austin. But speaking of
Mick
like the
Jagger just
cool,
turned 78.
right? Speaking of like the cool factor and like the always behind it, Billy Gibbons would be in the Austin airport sometimes, and you'd see him walking around, hard dude to miss. But I ended up seeing him, and I remember thinking to myself, like, here's a guy that if you like threw a step in front of him that wasn't there, he'd just like casually walk over it. You know, he'd be like, "Yeah, dude, step, man." Like, and
Well,
just get over it.
I do remember seeing Billy Gibbons on Rolling Stone's top 100 guitarists of all
Oh
time.
yeah,
He was like in the top 30 or 40 or something like
yeah.
that. So he's again, there seems to be this need for flashiness now to where there's somebody to get
Yeah,
a
he's
guitar
just
provide.
like they are guts and bones. Let's see what we got next. I think I got a couple left.
Yep.
Let's check out the next one. Here she is. Again, just like classic ZZ.
Look at the crowd jumping up and down.
Oh yeah.
Yep. That riff
Look,
takes
everyone
more
knows
touch
that.
than what people think.
Everybody knows that drum in the background too.
And I'm getting ready to do it.
Here it comes. This drop too. So good.
Like a lot of nice girls there.
Again, that bass and drum just does not stop. It's relentless.
Only because I'm in Las Vegas right now. Only because I'm in Las Vegas right now, I want to say that song right there that we just listened to, I think, is the all-time greatest stripper song.
Oh, I mean, it's probably maybe one of the most used, for sure.
well, that's what we read. We've not been there, but
do you know what the song's about?
If I was
there's a wife.
stripper, that's what it would.
Speaking of, no, I'm just kidding.
Speaking of strippers,
yeah. Says, yes. Do you know what that song's about? Do you know what it's about?
No, tell me. I do, but
It says the rumor is spreading around. Nice Texas town in that shack outside LaGrange. It's about a whorehouse.
Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah,
yes, I did.
Yeah, and it's like a legit like whorehouse back in the day. So that was what it's all about. Yeah. All right.
It's still there. It's on the Highway 7. No.
That's no, nobody knows. So the next song is probably one of my favorites, and I feel like you should do this while you're in Vegas. All right, it goes something like this.
Nobody will confuse me with a sharp dressed man.
Tonight's the night, Darren. Tonight's the night.
That's right.
Let's go. I love this. It's so bad, it's good. It's great. Dark time.
Funny how.
All right. Guy's late for work, apparently.
You know, it's interesting. I'd like to do a show one time about how videos have changed because now the singer or the band is always the absolute focal point of videos. But back in the day, that's not how you did it. You usually had
That's like a
characters or actors.
story and like actors. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
that's the way videos used to be, and
yeah.
that's what that is. And
Yeah, it's all
but
about
anyway,
the
that's a
image
whole
now
other
up front. It's less about the
right,
music to an extent.
right.
We are both, I know as I speak for both of us here, very sad to see Dusty Hill gone. It's always too soon. There's just never a moment in life where I'm like, oh, that was the right time. So feeling sad, feeling a little heartbroken, and I will be, jamming some ZZ Top certainly in the next coming weeks. So.
Yeah, and I just learned this morning. So Dusty, I guess he knew he was sick and
Mm.
nearing the end, and he said the band's guitar tech for the last 50 years is going to take over the bass player's spot. And Dusty said, "I want that music to continue. I want the show to continue." So they've already announced his replacement, and I think, wow, what a grand gesture by
Dude,
Dusty to do that.
that's
That
awesome.
here's an employee
And here's to the
that's worked
guitar
for
tech too. Like man, that's the best story I've heard ever. That's like round of applause. I would like the
for
little
50
guy
years.
winning for sure right there.
Right,
Nobody ever has like they're like, "Hey, guitar tech, let's go." And the guitar techs are monsters. Like they're all
right.
extremely good.
Well, most bands move as they go and get some bass player that was in a
From a
band that's
big,
now
yeah,
broken up,
yep,
right, and
yep,
needs
a
needs a
big
place to jam.
name. Yeah, I
And they
love
got the
it.
guy backstage,
They
which is
got the
cool.
dude that's just like throwing guitars at him. That's awesome.
Right,
Oh man, it speaks to how close they all were and how
right.
much of a team and camaraderie it was. Well, yeah, bummer. Well, we appreciate you all for following along. We're sorry to break the news if you haven't heard it. We're sorry to talk about it, but we're also grateful for all the time we had with ZZ
I
Top.
I
So
really am. I would just say from my generation, Generation X, I don't know any Gen X kid that didn't like ZZ Top at least a little bit.
you have to be
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah,
Like to not. I mean, maybe if you don't love them, but you can't just be like, yeah, yeah, that's great. I love them. That's fun. Like you have to
right,
like
right,
something. They are like a
right,
universally like if you don't like ZZ Pop, it's not people are like why, like why,
right.
what's wrong with you? Which is a great question. If you don't like ZZ Top, what's wrong with you? All right, everybody, smash that subscribe. Hit us with questions, comment, sing your praises for Dusty Hill and the boys at ZZ Top, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Later, everybody.